Hi Nida, how are you?
I'm very well, thank you. Thank you for having me.
Nida is joining us from Mumbai, India. Nida is a dental cosmetologist, and Nida has been doing some wonderful work with celebrities in Mumbai, especially the Bollywood industry. Nida, welcome to Emerging Trends.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure to be here.
So, Nida, do you want to tell our viewers a little bit about your journey?
I am born and brought up in the city of Aurangabad. That has got a lot of traditional history to it, and have my upbringing has been in a very traditional Muslim family. And being like little good at studies always meant that at point of time we never had so much exposure to the various career opportunities. So being good at studies always led to you becoming a doctor or an engineer in those days. So yeah, that's how it was at that point of time. And I like badly wanted to. So once my 12th was over, I badly wanted to become a doctor, but my marks were slightly less than. So at that point of time, there were like two kinds of seats that used to be there. There were government seats and there were private seats. So I was getting a paid seat into MBBS, but I wasn't very interested in spending the kind of amount that a paid seat would require. So of course my second option turned out to be dentistry. So, but at that point of time, it was a situation wherein I had to become a dentist. But when I realized it and when I actually feel I am like really grateful to that little 2-3 marks less that I got, and I ended up becoming a dentist because I'm really in love with my profession. And yeah, so I got a seat in Nasik. That was NGV Dental College, and the atmosphere that the kind of feel that a hostel had was completely different from atmosphere it was at home. So that was the first challenge, completely having put you into a hostel and you are completely independent. Everything has to be done by your own. So that was one of an experience for me. So, having finished college, say in around 2009, and which was the same time when I got married. So, when I was in my internship itself, is when I got married, and then I had to shift to Bombay. So, my the basic after which I joined a private practitioner in Mumbai, and that was when I actually realized that my interest was more towards cosmetic dentistry. I liked to make people feel confident about their smiles, and then eventually the basic training in cosmetic dentistry and the international certification, all of it happened after I got married. So I really am I really feel blessed to have been married into a family who understood the importance of education, and who really so my husband has been a fierce force behind me, behind setting up my own practice, and helping me with the kind of vision that is necessary in order to be a successful entrepreneur. I really owe him a lot. So that's how it has been. I have an 8-year-old son. He was born in 2011. So yeah, that's how it is. And I'm happily settled and having an established practice in Andheri West in Mumbai.
Okay, fantastic. So, Nida, since we are talking about emerging trends, I would like you to tell us a little bit about the challenges you face because of the pandemic. I think Mumbai is one of the worst hit cities in India today.
So what I would say is it cannot be post pandemic because we are still into pandemic. It's not over as yet. We are facing, and it looks like it's going to be quite challenging for the next few years, few months at least. Not if we are positive. So basically, the challenge that I faced was right. The first one was shutting down of the business completely.
Okay.
So for the first 2 months, the clinic was completely shut. So we were not. There was no incoming as such. There were no new patients. We were not treating our old cases, and at the same time, the outgoings were still happening. So we were paying our employees, we were paying the maintenance, and we were paying all kinds of bills that are come along with a private practice. And Mumbai is extremely expensive. It is highly unforgiving in that matter.
Right.
So your overheads are like crazy in a city like Mumbai. So there was zero earning, and the outgoings were like, constantly happening. So that was, and plus the fact that, from a flourishing practice, and when you were just shut for 2 months, 2 to 3 months, and all together, it's like, can be emotionally also disturbing to you. So right from financial crisis to the emotional crisis, to like, the uncertainty that was out on the outside. So it was like, on every level it was challenging for us. But then we actually reached a stage. Also, the most significant part was the calls that were coming from patients. So there were people who were in pain and they had to be treated. And we had the Indian Dental Association was changing the, like, the protocol for opening your clinics and the sterilization that needs to be taken care of. It was changing like every single day. So there was unsurety, there was uncertainty, there was fear. It was extremely challenging for us.
So Nida, we will quickly a little bit talk about your short-term and long-term challenges. I think you discussed the short-term challenges a little bit. So what do you see in the long term, and how will you go about it, to get your business up and running?
The point was, after sitting for like good 2.5 months, what we realized is that this scenario is going to stay. It is not going to get over in the next 1 month or in the next 15 days. So the challenge to the challenge of actually arriving to a decision of getting started was like, quite eventful. Like, so we had to take a call that we got to open. The first and the most important thing is the seriousness of getting the infection itself, because we are like at a very high risk of getting infected. We were like completely prone and highly vulnerable. So we had to decide, like, whether you are up in the game of getting the risk, involving yourself in the risk or no. So yes, that was the first thing. Then having the entire sterilization protocol fixed. So they were like, it is definitely a huge investment. So from having no income to again putting a lot of it into the investment and the inventories that are required to have your practice running was in itself a challenge. So there comes the investment, and then there comes like, the fear of the patients walking into the clinic. So we had to like, have that confidence in them. So there was an entire protocol that is set. So right from having the patients are given a set of instructions, like, they have to brush and then only walk out of the home. They should not be visiting any other place when they are leaving their home. They have to come directly to the clinic. They are given like, a set of face mask and a head cap, and PPEs are worn. So like again, the entire experience of working in a PPE, and like it is completely different. So I'm very uncomfortable. It's like, without with the mask and all on your face, and that too very tightly fixed, it becomes like little exhaustive after a certain point of time. So yeah, right from beginning, the inventories in the clinic, to having your patient feel safe, to having your assistants feel safe in the kind of atmosphere that is, it is and we have like, tried and fixed the entire protocol completely in place, so that we are safe, the patients who are walking in are safe, our families at home are safe, because we can again carry the same infection back home if we are not taking care of ourselves in the clinic. So we have to consider our assistants and their families as well. So yeah, that's what the plan is.
So yours is one of the most challenging industry, because the cross contamination can very easily happen. And you talked about future scenarios and a protocol in place, and I'm sure that there are a lot of other protocols you'll have to go through. That's about your practice. Post pandemic, there is this new concept which has come up, which is creative de-risking. Now, even though you started your business, you will have to sustain it. You cannot, keep incurring the expenses and not have an incoming. So have you thought about that, and what's your take on it?
See, honestly, creative de-risking is definitely a necessity of the day right now. And but fortunately, and because we don't know when this is going to end, maybe 3 months, maybe 6 months. But the good part is the patients who are walking in, they understand the importance of the safety protocol and they are ready to comply with it. That is extremely important. And also my business, the kind of work that I do, I am like, very closely associated with a lot of pageant organizations, the Miss Indias, the Miss Divas. I do a lot of cosmetic work for those girls. So there has been a very high postponement in the events that they were looking at. So now the thing is, there is some kind of positivity, and the girls are looking at the events which are coming up in the next year. So yes, we are, and also the procedures that I do primarily involve smile makeover procedures. So with the sterilization and everything in place, with the kind of, we are again looking at getting into elective and cosmetic dentistry, because right now it is need based dentistry that we are serving at, but we are slowly getting there, wherein we are looking at having more cosmetic treatments in place, more smile enhancement procedures in place. So yes, there is some kind of positivity that we are finally looking at now.
That is fantastic to hear, and I wish you good luck for your upcoming businesses. I'm sure that slowly and gradually we will come out of this pandemic together. Thank you so much for being here and giving your time on this platform.
Thank you very much.
For our viewers, if you're watching this interview for the first time, we have wonderful women like Nida on this platform on a continuous basis who will inspire you to keep going at it and not worry about the pandemic. So if you're not subscribed to my channel, please do subscribe. Thank you, Nida. Thank you for your time.
Yeah, thanks a lot.